Part 19. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 182. In fact, Jin Li was not really sad. She was not by Jin Li in the first place, so naturally she did not have the friendship with Enro. As for the betrayal, Enro's rank can't hurt herself. To Jin Li's surprise, Su Hexiang also came. She looked at Jin Li and said, "A friend who will betray you, not a friend. You don't deserve to feel sorry for her." Jin Li still remembers the kindness of this young lady who spoke for herself when the public opinion was against her. She smiled and said, "Is Susu comforting me?" Su Hexiang said with a stern face, "Don't call me Susu, that's what fans call me. Besides, I'm not comforting you, I'm just afraid that you will bring bad emotions into the filming. Today I have a lot of scenes with your opponents, if I don't play well, I'll be in trouble." Looking at her duplicity, Jin Li wanted to laugh a little. She could understand Su Hexiang's temperament, she obviously cared about herself, but she always liked to be inhumane. But this kind of arrogance must not be dismantled. Otherwise she will be angry. Jin Li then followed her words and smiled, "I am your fan. I am addicted to Susu's good looks and temperament, and I also like your acting skills." Su Hexiang. Her eyes widened slightly, as if she was stunned by Jin Li's shameless words. But Su is Su after all, and her facial expression control is top-notch. In just a moment, she snorted coldly, "Grill tongue." Jin Li didn't speak, just looked at her and smiled. Su Hexiang couldn't hold it any longer, so she made a random excuse to leave. When Jiming touched his chin on the side and looked at it, "Very strange, hey, I'm very strange, your popularity is really amazing. You can even win Hexiang." Jin Li nodded contentedly, "Of course. A person with vision, who wouldn't like me?" The original director over there started calling Jin Li to film. Jin Li reached out and waved in response, and stood up. When Jiming's eyes suddenly stopped. "Jin Li," he shouted in surprise and asked, "Where did you get this bracelet from?" "Wristband." Jin Li glanced down. Oh, it was the bracelet that Long Hao gave him. This thing can't be removed by ordinary methods, and it looks good when worn, so Jin Li ignored it. Zifu's cuffs were loose, and Jin Li just raised her hand and revealed it. "It was given to me by a friend, what's the matter?" Jin Li replied casually. When Jiming took 2 steps closer and looked down, it was indeed the familiar look. "I have a very good friend who wears the exact same bracelet," he said. He used to think it looked good, and when he asked where he bought it, he wanted to buy one too. The other party said helplessly that this is a very special thing and cannot be bought. Jin Li was taken aback. This is what Long Hao gave him. Listening to his words, it is their national security department or someone with special power. Does Wen Jiming have such a friend? She was about to ask when the director called out again. Jin Li pressed the doubts down and hurried to shoot. Wen Jiming looked at her back, frowned and thought for a while, took out his mobile phone, and sent a WeChat account to an account. "How, I saw someone wearing a bracelet exactly like yours today. It's the one with a very beautiful design." The other party responded quickly. "Is it Jin Li? How does he know?" When Jiming's typing hand paused. The other party's next message has been sent. "I know. Jin Li is not a simple person, don't get too close to her. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess." Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 183. When Jiming looked at Jin Li on the set and lost his mind. Ahao and he grew up together. He is 2 years older than Ahao. When he was a child, he liked the beautiful younger brother in the big yard very much. He often went to the Long's house to play. It's a pity that this little brother's health has not been very good. Wen Jiming's impression of Long Hao when he was a child was generally only his overly delicate eyebrows and overly pale complexion. The children in the courtyard all adore strong uncles, so they don't like to play with the skinny Long Hao. Only Wen Jiming often happily holds a lot of his toys to share with his brother Hao. The two are also small friendships. However, when he was 10 years old, Long Hao's condition seemed to worsen. The Long family often took Long Hao out. When they went out, it was as short as half a month, or as long as half a year. Wen Jiming asked his mother, and the answer he got was that he went to seek medical treatment. Alas, healing. The young Wen Jiming felt that Hao's younger brother was really pitiful. He has saved him a lot of goodies and fun. Long Hao's treatment lasted for 3 or 4 years, but his condition didn't look very good. Every time Wen Jiming went to see him, he always felt that Hao's younger brother became paler and thinner. Every time he held Long Hao's hand, he said seriously what he had learned in school today, and the book said that it was very beautiful. When you are well, we will go together. At such times, the always expressionless young Long Hao would show a shallow smile and say yes. But Wen Jiming had a faint feeling in his heart that he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to wait for the day when Hao's younger brother got better. But that day has come. The summer vacation at the age of 15 was very long for Wen Jiming. He didn't see Long Hao all summer vacation. But when the leaves fell in autumn, Long Hao came back. His face was still pale, but he seemed to be in good spirits, and he was no longer sick and collapsed when the wind blew. It's just that his two-way flat eyes became more silent. Sometimes, Wen Jiming looked at it, and even felt that Hao's younger brother didn't look like a normal person. How can there be a normal person who doesn't laugh or dance a lot, just like to be alone? But this did not affect the friendship between the two teenagers. He happily shared his treasures with Long Hao, and also made an appointment with Long Hao to go to Switzerland to play snow together during the winter vacation. Unfortunately, this agreement was not followed. Long Hao seldom stayed at home at first, and often went out. Once he disappeared, it would last for many days, and he could not even get in touch on the phone. When Jiming asked his mother only said that Long Hao went to a very strict school. It has been more than 10 years now, and the two of them have grown up. Wen Jiming's name for Long Hao also changed from Hao's younger brother to Hao. The two don't see each other often, but their relationship remains close. Wen Jiming was no longer the silly white sweet boy he used to be. He probably knew in his heart that Hao was probably engaged in a very confidential job. Unknown, paid for this country. This can be roughly guessed from his secret whereabouts, and when he returned home, the people in the courtyard mentioned Long Hao's secretive expression. This kind of work has always been extremely dangerous. Over the years, Hao's temperament has become more and more severe and indifferent. That bracelet? Maybe some kind of status symbol? Wen Jiming looked at Jinli from a distance. Can a sunny and innocent girl like Jinli be the one who works with Hao? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi Fairy Wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 184. Jin Li didn't know what Wen Jiming was thinking. She is filming. Today's scene is mainly her and Su Hexiang. The plot has progressed to the point where Tang Qinfen disguised herself as a man on the battlefield and made a name for herself. It has been a long time since Tang Qinfen met Helen Mingji for the first time. The two met again in a tavern in Guanyi. Helen Mingji dressed in men's clothing and took a group of guards to rest in this small shop mightily. She was squeamish and arrogant, and when she entered the door, a guard said, "My son, Zijing, wants to wrap up food in this lobby. If you are willing to give me some thin noodles, the heroes will share it with each other, and it will be regarded as an apology." The guard held a bag full of money, opened it, and poured it on the table. It turned out to be ingots of yellow gold. How rare and precious is gold! Even the shopkeeper straightened his eyes. With such a bag of gold, let alone a store, his small store is more than enough. Those who were originally unhappy, the guests got up one after another, and quickly got up and left. Tang Qinfen was among these guests. She recognized Helen Mingji. She didn't want to cause trouble and was about to leave in the crowd. But she was stopped. "That little man, please stay," a clear voice sounded behind him. If Tang Qin didn't hear the wind, he continued to walk forward, but was blocked at the door. "The handsome little man in the blue shirt is calling you. Tang Qinfen." She turned around calmly. Helen Mingji had already sat down on the window seat, propping her chin, looking at her with a smile. Obviously, she recognized herself. Tang Qinfen's hand had already touched the long sword at her waist, and she estimated how likely she was to escape if she wanted to do it. But Helen Mingji didn't intend to do anything with him. "This handsome young gentleman, I find you pleasing to the eye. There are old sayings, and you are beautiful and delicious. Would you like to have a meal with me?" He is a handsome young man with elegant eyebrows. Tang Qinfen paused and looked at Helen Mingji. The other party looked at her with a smile, not mentioning her identity at all. "Okay." After a long time, Tang Qinfen said hoarsely. Tang Qinfen had no taste for a meal, and kept thinking in his heart what purpose the eldest princess of the Northern Wei royal family had. It's a pity that the other party seems to really just call her to have a meal together. Nothing happened until the meal was over. When wiping the corners of his mouth with a towel, Helen Mingji finally spoke. "I see Xiaolang Jun's beautiful appearance and love it in my heart, and I even use half a bowl of rice more than usual. Why can't Xiaolang Jun face me, but he can't swallow?" She leaned over slightly, staring directly at Tang Qinfen, but Mingji's face is vulgar and can't get into the eyes of Lang Jun. Tang Qinfen. She couldn't tell whether this Princess Mingji deliberately said these flirtatious words to her, or whether the other party really took a fancy to her. But no matter what, she couldn't give any response. She was originally a daughter. Wen Jiming sat beside him and watched the plot. His expression became more and more subtle. "Why? Always feel that this picture looks so strange? Another weird harmony? I always feel that this should be the role of the first male lead. Director, are you going to do something? The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the koi goddess." Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 185. A new wave of stills from MRS Jinguo has been released again. The three main roles of Su Hexiang, Wen Jiming, and He Lanming will definitely not be absent. Compared with the serious stills that were officially announced for the first time, the stills released by the crew this time are more related to the plot. Astute fans quickly discovered something was wrong. Tang Qinfen and Zhang An looked at each other and smiled, and they can understand each other watching and helping each other on the battlefield after all. Although MRS Jinguo was not with anyone at the end of the play, it doesn't matter if they fall in love. But why did Tang Qinfen and Helen Mingji spend the night by the bonfire together, eat together, and look up at the mountains and rivers from the top of the peak together? These close-ups, the most terrifying thing is that when I look at it, I think these two are very harmonious. Nothing wrong. Blowing a wave of Jinli's beauty, men's clothes are so handsome, bravely. It's over. I suddenly feel that Tang Qinfen and Helen Mingji are a good match. Tang Qinfen Helen Mingji is a good match for Ad 1, we Susu look good in the stills. After serving you people, the male and female protagonists are here. What are you blind YY? Where is the blind YY? It was clearly said in the trailer that Helen Mingji likes Tang Qinfen in men's clothing. Okay, she doesn't know that the other party is female. I have decided the name of the CP without mentioning it. It is called Qingming CP in the play, and it is called Xiangli in reality. It's perfect. You are a devil in Qingming upstairs, right, but pears are good. Fragrant pear. What? I still remember that Susu stood up to support Jin Lee when she was hacked. It is rare to see Susu defending a person so obviously in the circle. It's love. You devils. The male protagonist, when gymming, cried and fainted in the toilet, and he felt sorry for me clearly. But I stand fragrant pair. Even the parties themselves did not expect that this inexplicably rising Xiongli cult has quickly formed a huge scale, and it has also been hotly searched by netizens. In this regard, the three main actors. When gymming, he looked at his assistant blankly, and said in disbelief, "Am I getting old? Do all my fans love me? Do I not even deserve my name in this love triangle? Do you have it?" Assistant. He looked at his actor with inexhaustible words, "You must hold it when you are outside, don't let the fans see you as an actress. Otherwise you will lose powder." Suhexiang frowned at this inexplicable hot surge. The assistant asked cautiously, "If you're not happy, I'll find someone to remove the hot surge." Suhexiang said lightly, "Forget it, it's a big deal, don't worry about it." The assistant said in the heart that there used to be news that delusions were related to you and Fry CP, but you didn't treat it that way. When another party, Jin Lee, was called by Lan Ting to read Weibo, his focus was completely different. "I think my men's clothes are so handsome. But women's clothes can better highlight my beauty," Jin Lee expressed her thoughts. Lan Ting, wait a minute, is this the point now? The point is that the fans are all cute now. The CP of Helen Mingji and Tang Qinfen, and by extension, it's the CP of you and Suhexiang. You are both actresses. Is this not a good influence? She silently added in her heart, "Fragrant pairs are all cults." She must be firm and unshakable. Jin Lee glanced at it and didn't care. "Oh, whatever they are, Miss Susu is very good looking, and we seem to be a good match. Lu Zhenjia, I can bear no role, and I can bear too many male rivals. Why should women guard against it? Is there a boss who is more frustrated than me? For the update is over, ask for a ticket, ask for a ticket. The Koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi goddess." Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 186. Facts have proved that this kind of spontaneous YY from fans is the correct way to ignore him. Originally, it was a small group of fans who made themselves cute in the enclosure. If the master himself responded, it would be too strange. Although the popularity of this cult CP remains high, the two actresses have greatly increased their fans, but the accident did not bring any inconvenience to Suhexiang and Jin Lee themselves. Although fans kept shouting Xiang Li, in reality, they never thought about the two in an ambiguous direction. After all, they are good fans who are rational and not demons. The fans were so excited that they didn't care, but some people were sour. Lu Zhenjia looked at the fragrant pairs on the screen, and fell into a low pressure of confusion. The new special assistant Bai Qian sent the documents in tremblingly, feeling the unpleasant aura emanating from her husband, and the whole person was about to cry. She is just a poor and innocent assistant, why should she bear such pressure that she should not bear? When Bai Qian received the offer from Luz, she felt that the god of luck had descended upon her, but her heart was also secretly rippling. Thinking of her Bai Qian, although she graduated from a prestigious school, she has little work experience, and her family has no background, and her own conditions are not particularly good. With such a resume, how can he enter Lu's head office? Isn't this a script for a standard overbearing president heroine? Coupled with the news and photos uploaded by Lu Zhenjia on the internet some time ago. The person in charge of this huge business empire is not the gray-haired old man imagined by people, but a young and promising young talent. Most importantly, he looks handsome. So handsome that I want to sleep, cough. All in all, Bai Qian, a naive little girl with a girl's heart, said that before her first day of work, she had the illusion of a little pink. The domineering president and her confused assistant, tisk tisk, Just thinking about it makes me feel a little irritated. Then, she dressed up and went to work with anxiety and anticipation. Then, I saw the legendary BeautifulFemaleLead. Alas! Handsome. More handsome than expected. It's simply unstoppable. Then. There's no after that. Fantasy ends here. If you interview Bai Jianqian now, how do you feel about becoming the chairman's special assistant? This girl can only say a word without love. It's very tired, very tired. I'm so tired that I want to explode. The imaginary romantic look at each other, 1,000 years at a glance? Non-existent. There are only piles and piles of unfinished documents, endless materials, and non-stop overtime work. There is also Lu Zhenjia's merciless disdain. How long does it take to sort out the two documents? You can't do such a simple market analysis? Did you pay for your diploma? Aggrieved? You have to cry and finish your work before crying. The most important thing is that he must always endure the low pressure released by Mr. Lu without warning. Bai Jianqian has never been in contact with a character of Lu Zhenjia's level before. She has always felt that temperament and aura are all illusory. How many people can you describe it so terrifyingly? But now she understands that when some people get angry, it can really make people feel breathless. Like now. Fortunately, Lu Zhenjia doesn't bring personal emotions into work, and he just waved his hand and let people go out. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi Fairy Wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 187. Bai Jianqian left the office, leaning against the wall, sighing in relief. Another narrow escape. Come to life. What? You ask that little girl's charming mind? After seeing Lu Zhenjia for the first time, he was strangled to death, and there was no spark left. Sure enough, the overbearing president's novels are all lies. In reality, where is the handsome, rich, and gentle CEO dad? Only capitalists who frantically squeeze employees. Devil. Bai Jianqian held a moment of silence for Mr. Lu's future partner for the 10,000th time. With such a moody husband who works part-time as a central air conditioner, no matter how handsome his face is, no matter how good his figure is, ordinary people can't bear it. As everyone knows. Mr. Lu in the office also disliked the new assistant. It's too fussy to do things, not thoughtful about things, and not satisfactory at all. Sure enough, there is no harm if there is no comparison. Lu Zhenjia suddenly misses Bai Yan, who is still far away in Africa. They are all surnamed Bai. Why is there such a big difference? Otherwise, let him come back. Bai Yan, who was applying the fourth layer of sunscreen to himself, yawned suddenly. I don't know when Mr. will think of me. He muttered, looking up at the scorching sun above his head. If you don't call me back, sir, the Lu family will probably have to find a third person with a lamp. Lu Zhenjia, who had a strong sense of crisis, decided to skip work to consolidate his position. Anyway, the important work has been completed. Some small projects, let the project managers under their hands make up their own minds. Lu Zhenjia thought without any psychological burden. Just do it. President Lu Ba left early with peace of mind and drove to the production crew to visit. This is the first time that Lu Zhenjia has come to the crew after announcing his identity as a fan. He was baptized by the eyes of the entire crew. Of course there are benefits. When he was sitting next to Jin Li and chatting with her, no one felt strange anymore. Everyone looked like as expected. I said how this Mr. Lu always liked to get close to Jin Li before. I envy Jin Li for having such fans and so on. Xu Ya is also one of the enviable members of the crowd. She had been in a state of anxiety in the crew a few days ago. The moment she knew Jin Li was playing Helen Mingji, she knew it was broken. Before, I thought she was losing power and was rushing to get down. Isn't it hated? It's good now, people have changed and become the new favorite of the original director. A key female number 2, it is not too simple to want to be a small supporting role who has no role. Shuya hadn't slept well for a few days in a row, and she was trembling every day on the set, for fear that Jin Lee would feel revenge for her at any time. Then a few days passed. Not to mention looking for trouble, Jin Lee didn't even look at her. Shuya breathed a sigh of relief. The other party seems to have completely ignored him. While this may sound a bit uncomfortable, it's better to be ignored than to be in trouble. After that, when Jin Lee was exposed to the unspoken rules of investors, Shuya also said a word for her on Weibo. In other words, Jin Lee's acting skills are really good. She thought to herself, for the sake of you not bothering me, I will return your favor. How do you know that the turning point of the matter is so wonderful? The unspoken rule Gold Master's father is actually a fan of Jin Lee. The Koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 188. Shuya felt that she had summed up an experience. That is, Jin Lee is very mysterious. She always seems to be able to complete a perfect counterattack in a dead end that seems impossible to turn over. Sounds weird, doesn't it? But Shuya summed it up and felt right. Maybe someone is so lucky, right? Shuya thought sourly. She glanced in that direction enviously. Mr. Liu, who was as handsome as an oil painting figure and rich enough to buy a country, was listening intently to what Jin Lee was saying. It is said that this kind of boss, time is counted in seconds. But people just go to Jin Lee every once in a while to waste time. Shuya glanced carefully again, and decisively shifted her gaze. I can't watch it anymore, I can't help but be jealous. But think about Jin Lee's strange power of crushing the Rubik's Cube with one hand, and the big guy next to her who stomps her feet in the international business circle, and her jealousy can only be in vain. Alas, forget it. Buddha is Buddha. Lu Zhenjie successfully made a wave of presents in front of the crew, and very generously ordered a luxurious working meal for everyone, and then left with a little reluctance. Back to the company. He turned on his phone and logged into Weibo. As predicted. The news that #MR.LU appeared in the cast of MRS Jinguo to visit idols and invite the whole crew to a luxurious lunch has made headlines on major media websites one after another. Hot searches naturally also occupy a place. The Yalai party, who was hit by the Xiongli CP in the past 2 days, was a little sluggish in an instant, full of blood and resurrected. If this is not love. Long live Yalai. Yalai race high. The big bosses in the business world, who are in charge of every day, take time to visit the idol crew to visit the class, it's really too sweet. Sweet. Adhere to Yalai for 100 years without wavering. As a fan, I think I'm too incompetent, but Dad Lu, you are so powerful. If Jin Lee has a boyfriend in the future, it will be so stressful. What are you talking about upstairs? With such fans, what kind of boyfriend do you need? No novel dares to write like this, Father Lu, how can you be so sassy? Daily licking the screen, in terms of appearance alone, none of the male stars in the circle make me think that there is such a match between Dad Lu and Jin Lee. Lick the screen +1, what kind of winner in life is Dad Lu? It doesn't matter if you are inhuman, this face, I'm afraid it took Nuwa a month, right? It took Nuwa a month, ha 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 ha. After laughing and crying, I'm afraid it was produced by Nuwa's assembly line. Duck with duck pair. The fragrant pear party has been so arrogant these 2 days, even a drama fan CP dares to be so arrogant. Dad Lu really went to the battle to teach you how to be human. Lu Zhenjie looked at the high-rise Yalai CP building and showed a satisfied smile. What fragrant pear cult, the pheasant CP, dares to steal his limelight? Jin Lee's day of filming ended, and when she and Lan Ting were driving home together, she heard the manager's uncontrollable muffled laughter. Jinli? What happened? So happy. Lan Ting quickly corrected her expression. When a CP fan sees the excitement of a real person making candy, others will not understand. She said, Jinli, look at the hot search. Jinli glanced at her suspiciously, clicked on the hot search, and saw Lu Zhenjie and his own Yali CP headline. She looked at the comments below, netizens said it well, and with pictures, it really looked like that. The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the koi goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 189. As a loyal Yali fan, Lan Ting carefully looked at Jinli's expression. Seeing that she did not show any disgust, she secretly breathed a sigh of relief. She is very clear about Jinli's character. If she doesn't like something, she doesn't bother to hide it. She looks like this, at least it shows that she is not disgusted. What do you think of this hot search? Lan Ting asked. Jinli is still scrolling down, there are quite a lot of talented fans, and all kinds of small jokes have come out. Jinli asked casually, how about what? Just this Yali CP. Hearing this, Jinli took a serious look at the photo on the homepage and commented very pertinently, Lu Zhenjie is the most beautiful man I've ever seen, a man, and looking at it this way, we are quite a good match. Lan Ting's words sounded a little familiar. She thought about it carefully. 2 days ago, when Xiangli CP developed to its peak, she asked her herself, didn't she answer the same way? Pretty decent. They're all pretty decent. Why does this sound so crap? Lan Ting didn't give up, then do you think Su Hexiang matches you or Lu Zhenjie matches you? Jinli. She glanced at Lan Ting and wondered, what are you thinking about in your little head? For me, as long as a good-looking person is with me, it doesn't lower the overall appearance. It's pretty. Lan Ting. Before she could say anything, Jinli happily held up her face. Of course, if there is another me in this world, standing with me, wow, of course it is the best match. Lan Ting. She suddenly felt that neither Xiangli CP nor Yali CP had no future. Zhenzu is obviously an extremely narcissistic guy who is addicted to self-defeating. By the way, Lan Ting remembered something. Sister Qing called me just now and said that Enro woke up, but the situation doesn't seem to be very good. Enro, Jinli was stunned for a moment, then she was not interested. Oh, she's awake. Well, Sister Qing asked if you want to go to the hospital to see her. Jinli shook her head quickly, if you don't go, why should I go to see her? It's annoying to see her. Lan Ting also felt that the woman was too much, and nodded, then we won't go. Enro woke up at noon. Her consciousness woke up earlier than her body, and before she opened her eyes, she felt a piercing pain. From the back, from the head, from the thighs. The pain nearly made her faint again. After a long time, after a while, she slowly opened her eyes. A large group of doctors and nurses in white coats rushed in, checked her thoroughly, and left in a hurry. Enro finally had time to slowly think about what happened. By the way, she got into the car, the driver drank alcohol, and there seemed to be a car accident behind her. Car accident? She was startled, her body moved subconsciously, pulled somewhere, and her legs were aching. What's wrong with her legs? Enro tried to move, but found that her legs couldn't move. What happened? Enro panicked, she couldn't move, she could only shout, anyone? Doctor! Doctor! The nurse came in quickly, looking at her with a cold expression. Everyone here knows who Enro is. Of course, I also know the gossip earlier. Now there are paparazzi outside the hospital squatting asking if Enro is awake. Nurses don't chase stars, but they don't like a woman with vicious thoughts and rumors. Missin, what's the matter? My leg, what's wrong with my leg? Enro looked up at the nurse hopefully. Updated today. I ask for recommended tickets every day, and suddenly I feel that it is good to be self-sufficient and self-sufficient lighting a cigarette. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 190. She hoped she was just a little traumatized. Take good care of it and it's over. But the nurse lowered her head with a look of indifference she was used to seeing life and death accidents. Buy yourself a more comfortable wheelchair, missin. And Rose's face froze, and then she shouted, impossible. No way. You lied to me. The nurse didn't speak, and Rose struggled to reach out and grab her. The nurse took a step back to avoid, if Missin wakes up, we will notify your family and company, and you will discuss the follow-up treatment with them. Rose ignored her, ignoring the pain coming from her body. She tried her best to touch her legs with her hands. How can that be possible? She just passed out and slept for a while, why can't she move her legs? This must be a nightmare. Soon people came to the ward. But it wasn't from the Morning Star Company, nor Rose's family. But the paparazzi who sneaked into the ward. Missin, why do you want to open the trumpet Haejin Lee? It is said that you were good friends before. Why did you spread rumors to frame her? Is there any holiday between you two? Rose. She looked at the paparazzi blankly, not understanding what he was talking about. What's the trumpet? What lies? What the hell is he talking about? The wound on his body was burning like pain, and the pain in his mind was dull. The reporter's aggressive topic was in his ear. Rose just felt as if her brain was about to explode. I don't know what you're talking about, please get out, I don't know. Miss Rose, please don't evade the topic. Now the fans already know what you have done, will you feel guilty about it? Do you think Jin Lee will forgive you? Rose only felt a sudden pain in her head. She knew she must look miserable and embarrassed at the moment. But the reporter in front of him didn't care about himself at all. His mouth was full of pears, trumpets, and rumors. Rose's heart sinks more and more. A great unease and panic enveloped her. When I was in a coma, what happened? What happened? Ah, she screamed suddenly, holding her head. A nurse and a doctor came in, and seeing her appearance, asked the security guard to take the reporter out, and gave her a tranquilizer. Rose finally calmed down. She opened her eyes wide and stared at the ceiling coldly. After a long time, she finally slowly reached out and picked up the phone. Her hands were shaking a little. Lots and lots of missed calls and messages appear on the page. Rose didn't care, she opened Weibo. A lot of comments and private messages directly make the phone stuck. After a while, the page returned to normal. Rose's eyelids trembled, looking at the comments under her trumpet. Rose begs you to be a person, right? How much hatred can make you hurt people like this? I bother. I almost believed what you said before. I heard that you were in a car accident. The current news is coming so quickly, huh? If it weren't for your woman's car accident, I could scold you until you died on the spot, believe it or not. Shameless pink eye, curse you for not being popular all your life. These people are all under the account of a passerby who eats melons, calling her by her name. Rose's eyes went black. How did they know that they were Rose? She turned on her phone and started searching for relevant news, and finally found what she was looking for. Looking at it, Rose's breathing became heavier. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 191. Done. This time it's really over. Not some skeptical suspicion. Her mobile phone was logged into the Weibo account, and the paparazzi seized the opportunity to take a photo and post it on Weibo. Ironclad evidence. There is no place to even wash. Now the whole internet knows that she and Ro opened a trumpet to spread rumors that Jin Lee was taken care of, and she was under unspoken rules. Everyone knows that they are not a good thing, pink eye, jealous people. And Ro clutched the phone tightly, her fingers turning white. How to do? A second ago, she lost her legs, thinking that her life had reached the darkest moment. But now, a heavier blow was pressed down. And Ro is used to treating anyone with a gentle and kind face. They like the feeling of being praised by everyone and are used to showing their kindness and thoughtfulness in front of everyone. For her, losing her well-cherished reputation and ruining her reputation from now on is more unbearable than losing a pair of legs. She threw the phone to the ground and lay crying on the hospital bed. When the nurse came in to change the medicine for her leg, she saw Ro like this. She had no good feelings for this woman at first, but now seeing her miserable appearance, she couldn't help but soften her face. Don't cry, think about it, that kind of speed, such a tragic car accident, can save a life, it's good luck. And Ro thought to herself, what is the difference between me living like this now and dying? Oh, the only thing that is fortunate is that the matter of finding someone to bump into Jin Lee has not been exposed, otherwise. Wait a minute. Her eyes suddenly widened in horror. Find someone to hit Jin Lee yourself. At that time, what was the excuse of the driver? Drunk driving. Yes, drunk driving. Jin Lee Kingyu's voice began to echo in Ro's mind. Ro, people are watching. If you do bad things, you will be punished. Retribution. She remembered the way the driver stomped on the gas pedal with a flushed face. Drunk driving. Car accident. Ro only felt a chill on her back, and her whole body shivered. Is all this a coincidence? Or as Jin Lee said, retribution? The patient on the bed suddenly became quiet. The nurse felt strange, but looking at Ro's appearance, she looked very calm. We've informed your family and company, and they'll be coming to accompany you soon, she said. Ro nodded lightly and asked, can I see Jin Lee? The nurse said, our hospital only treats patients, we don't care about this kind of thing. Ro said, can I trouble you to pick up the phone on the ground for me? The nurse complied. When the nurse left, Ro picked up the phone and wanted to call Jin Lee. But I found that I didn't have Jin Lee's number when I changed my mobile phone. Instead, she called Sister Ching. Sister Ching did not agree, but related to Jin Lee. Of course Jin Lee didn't want to see her. Ro, who received the reply, was not surprised. Chen Xing also came, and it was a director who had a good relationship with Ro before. However, in the face of interests, it is obvious that the relationship between the two is very plastic. The director first sighed that Ro had bad luck or something, then he straightened his face and began to scold Ro for doing something wrong because of jealousy, which was really inappropriate, and finally expressed the company's attitude, termination of the contract. With Ro like this, it's obvious that she can't do anything anymore. According to Morningstar's contract, they would pay Ro a fixed monthly fee similar to salary, and they would also pay Ro's medical expenses. For Ro, who cannot create value, these are of course a waste.